to everyone. Test. Are you on?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
I love the early birds. That's all of you. Some of you crossed a river this morning and found out there was very little traffic because you were coming so early to service. We want to reward that by matching our kavanah, our intention to make this a morning service where everyone is lifted on the wings of song and prayer and repentance. If you would open your books to page 111, there is a small reading at the bottom of the page before we sing the facing page, Ma Tovu. We're on 111 at the bottom. And we're going to read it together, just these few lines. Here in the place of prayer and song, hear the call that stirs the soul. All may enter, let none stand apart. Sisters and brothers, how beautiful and how good. Ma tovu, ma tovu, halecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael, ma tovu, ma tovu, halecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael, v'ani berov chastecha avo ve'techa eshtacha ve'el hechal kodshecha ve'yiratecha. If you know, join in. Ma tovu, ma tovu, alecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael, ma tovu, ma tovu, alecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael, Adonai ahavti, me'el Mishkan Kivodecha, Mishkan Kivodecha, Vani Eshtachaveh, Ve'echra Evrecha Lifnei Adonai. Oh, see, I hope you got it by now. Ma Tovu. Great. Ma Tovu. Mishkanotecha Yisrael, ma tovu, ma tovu, alecha Yaakov, Mishkanotecha Yisrael, va'ani tefilati lecha, Adonai et ratzon. Elohim berov chastecha, Elohim berov chastecha, aneheni bemet ishech. Last chance. Matov, matovu, 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 o alecha Yaakov, Mishkanotecha Yisrael, matov. Matovu, matovu, alecha Yaakov, Mishkanotecha Yisrael, Mishkanotecha Yisrael. If you would look in your book, the next page, 112, you'll find the blessing for study of Torah. In our tradition, the first thing we should do when we're getting up, once our eyes are awake, is immerse ourselves in the values of our tradition that we hoped to make real and alive for today. So that chant is at the top of page 112.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah.
Amen. Well, you can't do a blessing for study without a little bit of study. So turn to page 117. Turn to somebody next to you, behind you if you're alone or wherever, and read to yourselves, to your neighbor, the passage there from Moses Maimonides' Mishnah Torah, the laws of repentance, where it says all year we should see ourselves. And I want noise. I want you to read it out loud, and I want you to say to the person sitting next to you, I object, or I agree, or that's important, or maybe not so much in my life, maybe tomorrow, or hopefully by Yom Kippur. Let the study begin. You have 1 minute to come to your conclusions about this text. The exam will be later. I can't talk. If I could have all of your attention and focus back to me, I want to praise you, not just because you got up early, but if you had not studied, it would be a bracha levatala. It would be a wasted blessing. And life is too short to waste our blessings, to waste our opportunities. So the next blessing is actually two combined. Our dear friend, our wonderful, wonderful mentor, Debbie Friedman, wove together the blessings for the body and the soul. The blessing for the body is on page 110 in Hebrew. The blessing for the soul is on page 112. The blessing for the body begins with the words Asher Yatzar. This is a lovely tune. If you know it, you feel free to join in. If not, give thanks during the music, that your body works, because as I've gotten older, that blessing has become more and more important to me. Those who understand will understand.
Yes, one quick comment. We're actually looking at pages 120 and 122.
Oh, excuse me, I failed math. I failed prayer book math. Yes, everybody's like, thank goodness for that. So it's 120 and 122, right?
Yes.
Eloha, oh, excuse me, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Elohai, Elohai,
Neshama, Shenatata bi Tehorahi. Now you.
Asher yatsa
Neshama, Shenatata bi Tehorahi. Ata virata, ata yitzarta, ata nefachta bi ve'ata mishamra bekibi. Elohai, Elohai, neshama, shenatata bihi So if you look at page 122, the right-hand side of the page, this beautiful rendering for the soul, I'll invite you to read it in English with me. Pure, my God, is the soul you gave me.
You formed it, you shaped it, you breathed it into me. You keep it safe within me. Someday, when this soul returns to you, I will find a place in eternity. But as long as Spirit breathes within me, I place before you my thanks, eternal my God and God of my ancestors. Creator of all creation, sovereign of all souls.
Baruch atah Adonai asher b'do nefesh kol chai v'ruach kol b'sar ish. The next several right-hand pages in your book, 3 of them, are the blessings for the daily miracles of life, like waking up. That's a really, really good one. When George Burns was asked how he lived to 104, he said every morning when the sun rises, he wakes up. That's a great way to be able to live for a very long time, right? And so the beautiful thing about it, Judaism, is although each blessing is important, you get full credit for saying amen. So if you say amen to each blessing, it's as if you said everything. Do either one. Let's have some enjoyable thanks for the daily miracles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lasech vivin alevchin ben yom uben layla.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivri.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, sokef kefufim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, rokaret al hamayim.
Amen. Turn the page.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shesali korsoki.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, amikim tzadek havel.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, anoten la yaev koach.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamavir shnai me'enai udnuma me'af hapai.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tzelem Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani bat chorim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ozi Yisrael b'gvura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, oter Yisrael b'tifara.
Amen. On the facing page together at the top. Blessed are the works of your hands, O Holy One. Blessed are hands that have touched life. Blessed are hands that have nurtured a child. Blessed are hands that have embraced with love and friendship. Blessed are hands that have planted new seeds. Blessed are hands that have harvested ripe fields. Blessed are hands that have cleansed, washed, mopped, and scrubbed. Blessed are hands that have held pain. Blessed are hands that have become naughty with age.
Blessed are hands that are wrinkled and scarred from doing justice. Blessed are hands that hold the promise of the future. Blessed are the works of your hands.
At the bottom of the page, Baruch atah Adonai gomel chasadim tovim le'amo Yisrael. And now we've completed the daily blessings of the morning. We continue with Psalms of Praise, starting with Baruch She'amar on 130.
Baruch She'amar v'haya olam baruch hu.
Amen.
Baruch Hosev Reshit, Baruch Omer v'Yoseh, Baruch Kozer M'kayim, Baruch Merachem al haaretz, Baruch Merachem al habriot, Baruch Meshalem Zachar Tov l'Reyav, Baruch Chai la'ad v'kayam lanetzach, Baruch Model Matzil, Baruch Shemo.
We're in the middle of the facing page 131. We read together from Psalm 27 before the Ashrei. God is my light and my refuge secure. Whom shall I fear? God is the stronghold of my life. Of whom should I be afraid?
Just one thing I have asked of God. Only this do I seek, to dwell in God's house all the days of my life, to behold divine sweetness and beauty, and to gaze in delight at God's temple.
Continue responsibly chanting Ashrei on the following page.
And please join me with this melody. This will wake you up. Now, Ashrei Yoshvei Veitecha, Odia Hallelujah Selah.
Ashrei ha'am shekacha lo, Ashrei ha'am sh'Adonai Elohav.
Tehillah ladavid arom imcha, Elohai hamelech ve'avarcha shimcha le'olam va'ed.
B'chol yom avarcheka v'halal shimcha le'olam va'ed.
Gadol Adonai umhulal me'od ve'ligdulato ein cheker.
Our turn. Dor ledor yishabach ma'asecha u'gvorotecha yagidu.
Hadar kevod hodecha v'divrei niflotecha sicha.
Ve'zudecha yomeru u'gedlatcha asaprena.
Zecher rav tuvecha yabi u'v'tzidkatecha yaranenu.
Chanun v'rachum Adonai erech apayim u'gdol chesed.
Tov Adonai lakol v'rachamav al kol ma'asav.
Yoducha Adonai kol ma'asecha v'chasidecha yivarchucha.
Kevod malchucha yomeru u'gvuratecha yedaberu. Le'odia livnei ha'adam gvurotav u'chvod adar malchuto. Malchutecha malchu kol olamim u'memshatecha bechol tovador.
Samech Adonai lechol hanoflim, zakef lechol hakefufim.
Enei chole lecha yisaberu v'ata noten lahem erochlam v'ito.
Poteach et yadecha u'masbiya lechol chai ratzon.
Tzadik Adonai bechol derachav v'chasid bechol maasav.
Karov Adonai lechol korav lechol asher yikra'u ve'emet.
Ratzon yereav yaseh ve'et shavatam yishma v'yoshim.
Shomer Adonai et kol ohavav ve'et kol hashayim yashmid.
Tehillat Adonai edaber pi v'yivarecho basar shim kodsho le'olam va'ed. V'anachnu nevarech ya me'ata v'olam. Hallelujah.
From more traditional to what's becoming tradition here. The second line. Hallelu el b'kodsho, Hallelu b'rkiya uzo, Hallelujah, Hallelujah.
Page 135.
Hallelu b'gvurotav, Hallelu kerov gudlo, Hallelujah, 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 Hallelujah,
Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Hallelujah.
Hallelu b'teika shofar, Hallelu b'neva v'chinor, Hallelujah, Hallelujah. Hallelu b'tofu machol, Hallelu b'minim v'ogam, Hallelujah, Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Hallelu b'tzitzilei shama, Hallelu b'tzitzilei trua, Hallelujah, Hallelujah. Kol anshama tehallel,
Kol anshama tehallel, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Just you.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
We are on page 136. You read here.
Right.
Read.
Blessed are we, blessed our gathering, as we open our hearts to the voice of the shofar. Happy are we who hear its call to return, the sacred trumpet of Teshuvah. Blessed are we, held close by an ancient sound that echoes, Lador Vador, from generation to generation.
Happy are we rising to the joyful cry of a new year.
Blessed are we who hear in these blasts of sound the voice of community.
Happy are we who know its embrace, its season of celebration, its quest for connection and purpose.
Holy is this gift of community. Blessed the act of belonging.
Shema Yisrael hakdusha shofat bakol, alfei revava panecha melo olam shebichina shebincha hakol echad. Together, hear, O Israel.
The divine abounds everywhere and dwells in everything. Its faces are intimate. Its source suffuses all. The many are one.
I'll ask you to rise.
Tekiah, Shvarim Trua, Tekiah.
Blessed
is the soul-reaching sound
Of the shofar, it proclaims the purpose of this day. Blessed is community, source of joy, solace, and strength to every living soul.
As you are able, please remain standing on 138 for Hamelech.
El betatum sotusecha, hagadol vichvot shemecha, hagibor v'landetzach v'hanora benorotecha. Melech Yoshev al kisei ram v'nisa, shochin ad maram v'kadosh shemo v'chatuv ranenu, tzadikim baronai le'isharim navatila.
We're on page 140 in the middle of the page. Together in English. By the mouths of the upright you are raised up.
In the words of the righteous you are blessed. On the tongues of the pious you are sanctified. In the midst of the holy you are praised. Your people by the thousands sing to glorify your name. In all generations we give voice to your sovereignty.
Our sovereign God, source of holiness and greatness, may your name be praised forever in this world and beyond. Eternal One, God of our mothers and fathers, your strength, sanctity, and glory and dominion are deserving of song, praise, poetry, hymn, sacred chant,
and blessings of thankfulness for all time and eternity.
Baruch atah Adonai, El melech gadol b'tishbachot, El hodot Adon haniflaot, Habocher b'shirei zimra melech, El chei haolamim.
Amen.
Chatzi Kaddish is on the facing page.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Bi'alema tivrach hirutei ve'amlich malchutei v'chai chom u'veyomechon u'v'chai dechol beit Yisrael ba'gala u'vizman gariv v'yimeru amen yesh me'rama mevorach li'olam li'almi almaya yishbarach yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'rivu li'elah li'elah min kol birchata v'shirata tu'ushbechata v'nechemata damiran bi'alma v'imru amen.
Page 142.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed.
In the middle of the page, we join together in Hebrew. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, yotzer or uvarei choshech, oseh shalom uvarei et hakol.
Or olam beotzar chayim, orot me'ofel amar vayehi.
144, we continue. Hameir la'aretz v'ladarim aleha barachamim, uvetuvo mechadesh v'chol yom tamid ma'aseh bereshit. Marabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam b'chochma asita, malach ha'aretz kinyanecha. Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shevach ma'aseh yadecha, ve'al me'orei or she'asita, yifa'arucha selah.
Or chadash al Zion ta'ir v'nizkechu lanu mehera le'oro. Or chadash al Zion ta'ir v'nizkechu lanu mehera le'oro. Baruch atah Adonai otzer hameorot.
Amen.
Page 147. I am the blossom pressed in a book, found again after 200 years. I am the maker, the lover, and the keeper. When the young girl who starves sits down to a table, she will sit beside me. I am food on the prisoner's plate. I am water rushing to the wellhead, filling the pitcher until it spills. I am the patient gardener of the dry and weedy garden. I am the stone step, the latch, and the working hinge. I am the heart contracted by joy, the longest hair white before the rest. I am there in the basket of fruit presented to the widow. I am the musk rose opening, unattended, the fern on the boggy summit. I am the one whose love overcomes you, already with you, when you think to call my name. We continue on the facing page 6 lines up from the bottom of the Hebrew. In the middle of 148.
V'avienu l'shalom erba kanfot haaretz v'tolichenu k'mimiyut la'artzenu ki el po'el yishuot ata uvanu v'chata mikolam v'lashon v'kiraftanu l'shimcha hagadol sela be'emet nodot lecha u'lechecha b'yahava baruch ata Adonai habocher b'yomo Yisrael b'yahava.
As you were able.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Evod Malchutah.
Please be seated. Page 152.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
We continue.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We're continuing on page 163. We read together the voice.
The voice that redeems us comes from within, said Rabbi Eliezer HaModai. Consider the courage of Israel when Moses said to the people in Egypt, "Arise and go forth." They did not ask, "How can we go into the wilderness with no sustenance for the way?" They had faith and went forward. The voice that lifts up the lowly upholds the exhausted and tells us to put one foot in front of the other. Sometimes it comes from within.
Please turn the page.
Mi kamocha b'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, norati lo Shira chadasha, shibechu geolim tzasifat hayam, hoduvim lichu v'yameru Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Zu Yisrael kuma b'Yisrael Zetechenu mecha Yehuda v'Yisrael Koaleinu Adonai tzvaot shemo Kedosh Yisrael Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael.
Page 166. Make every effort to pray from the heart. Even if you do not succeed, the effort is precious in the Eternal One.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei HaKol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, u'mevii Geula livnei bneihem, למען שמו ואהבה. זוכרנו לחיים, מלך חפץ בחיים, וכותבנו בספר החיים, למענך אלוהים חיים. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah.
Amen.
אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב והושיע, מוריד אתה, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדום מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה. מי כמוך אל הרחמים, זוכר יצוריו לחיים ברחמים, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל.
Please be seated, everyone. To prepare for Unetaneh Tokef, that most striking of prayers which hammers our hearts, we read a study text prepared by my colleague, Rabbi Margaret Morris-Wenig. It's on page 172 in the middle. Why do I, for one, want to hear all of Unetaneh Tokef, not only the comforting parts? An answer comes from the octogenarian violinist Olga Bloom, founder of Barge Music in Brooklyn. Olga was once asked by the mayor of New York, Olga, why don't you put the barge on pilings so when a large boat passes and causes a wake, the barge won't rock anymore and the piano won't ever roll across the stage during a performance as it once did? Olga replied, I will never put the barge up on pilings because all beauty, all art is in some way wrestling with impermanence and death. Unetaneh Tokef is an artistic wrestling with the impermanence and death, with deeds and their consequences, with power and powerlessness, with fear and reassurance, with mistakes and second chances. Please turn the page.
וחותם וסופר ומונה ותזכור כל הנשכחות ותפתח את ספר הזיכרונות ומאליו יקרא וחותם יד כל אדם בו.
On the facing page we read responsively, "Let us embrace the day and its holiness, for this day is a throne of goodness and power."
When the people of Israel do God's will, they strengthen God's power on high. But when the people of Israel fail to do God's will, they weaken, if one might say it, God's great power on high.
So let this day recall your power and ours. Let it remind us of our promises kept and broken, as we remind you of yours. Let this day be a throne of forgiveness, for today we are the accountants of our souls, the navigators of our hearts, seeking wholeness and new direction. And we seek you through signs of your presence in the arc of sacred history.
I make this covenant not with you alone, but with those who are standing here with us this day, and with those who are not.
God of ages past and future, God of this day, as you were with our mothers and fathers, be with us as well.
At the top of 177. Listen, a still small voice within us. Hear now, a sudden gust of the shofar. They ask, what are we? And what is the significance of our being in the world? Together?
You are my witnesses, said Adonai, and I am God, which is to say, when you are my witnesses, I am God.
And when you are not my witnesses, I am, as it were, not God.
Adonai is your protection at your right hand. Rabbi Levi Yitzchak of Berdichev taught. The verse says, Adonai is your sail, shadow at your right hand.
As the shadow follows the person, so it is with the divine.
On the next page, we have our listing of those who live and those who die, set to a wonderful yet aching chant.
Please join. Rosh Hashanah ikatevu uvyom Yom Kippur yechatevu Rosh Hashanah ikatevu uvyom Yom Kippur yechatevu Rosh Hashanah ikatevu וביום צום כיפור יחתמון כמה יעברון וכמה יבראון בראש השנה יכתבון וביום צום כיפור יחתמון בראש השנה יכתבון וביום צום כיפור יכתבון מי יחיה ומי ימות מי וקיצו ומי לא וקיצו מי ואש ומי ומים מי וחרב ומי וחיה, מי ורב ומי וצמא. בראש השנה יכתבון, וביום צום כיפור יכתבון, בראש השנה יקטבון, וביום צום כיפור יחתמון. מי ורש ומי ורעש ומי ומגפה ומי ומגפה. מי ורש ומי ומגפה, מי וחניקה ומי וסקילה, בראש השנה ייכתבון, וביום צום כיפור ייכתבון. בראש השנה ייכתבון, וביום צום כיפור ייכתבון. בראש השנה ייכתבון, וביום צום כיפור ייכתבון. מי ינוח ומי ינוע, מי ישקיט ומי יטרף, מי שלו ומי יתייצר, מי עני ומי עשיר, מי יושפל ומי ערום. בראש השנה ייכתבון, וביום צום כיפור ייכתבון. בראש השנה ייכתבון, וביום צום כיפור ייכתבון. ותשובה ותפילה וצדקה מעבירין את רוע הגזירה.
Page 179. We read an interpretive translation of what Cantor Berman just sang responsively. On Rosh Hashanah, we plunge like swimmers into a sea of words. On Yom Kippur, the sea rises, then crests, and we emerge,
sealed by the wax, warmed by the fire of braided candle.
The new year is like a trailhead opening wide before us. The day of fasting, narrow, breathless, so quick to close.
We contemplate a new year, and this we know.
We continue. Some of us will live, and some of us will die.
Some will die young, and some very old. Some by water, and some by fire. Some by sword, and some by beast. Some by hunger, and some by thirst. Some by plague, and some by earthquake. Some by stoning, and some by strangling.
Some of us will feel at ease, and some will be restless.
Some will have peace of mind, and some will have strife. Some will be tranquil, some will be tormented. Some will be raised high, and some will be brought low. Some will have riches, and some will be impoverished.
Even so, the way we act, the way we speak, the way we meet God's image in ourselves and in others, these things have great power to make our lives matter.
Therefore, let us make whole the broken shards, green and thick the withering grass.
Let the wind fill us with urgency for life. Let dreams give birth to justice and goodness.
God of holiness, God of hope, let us glimpse your truth as we attach our hope to yours. In the middle of page 180, we join together. You are everything that we praise you for, slow to anger, quick to forgive. You do not wish the death of sinners, but urge them to return from their ways and live. Until the day of death, you wait for them. You accept them at once if they return. Since you created us, you know our impulses. We are but flesh and blood. We who are mortal, our origin is dust, and so is our end. We wear out our lives to get our bread, like broken vessels, like withered grass, like a flower that must fade, a shadow moving on, a cloud passing by, mere dust on the wind, a dream that flies away. But for you, ever-living sovereign, time has no limits. Your presence, unbounded by days and years, is everywhere, a glorious mystery none can decipher. Your name is worthy of you, and you are worthy of your name. And our name you have linked with yours.
We rise as able for the Kaddish of the Sanctification.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, הכתוב על יד נביאיך, וקרא זה זה ויאמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני אדוננו, אדיר שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממרום. אנו אלוהינו, הוא אבינו מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה.
לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נגיד. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש. ששבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד, כי הוא מלך גדול, כי הוא מלך גדול, וקדוש אתה לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש.
You may be seated. Page 186 and 187. Holy is the dignity that is human, sacred the mystery we call divine. Holy is the sacrifice made for those we love, precious the pains they take for us. Sublime the glory of the heavens above us, sacred the beauty that glows within us. Noble is the mind in search of meaning, the heart is happy that it finds its way. Awesome is the power that rules our being, holy the kinship that makes us one. And so in your holiness, give your people the gift of honor. Bless with praise those who praise you. Bless with hope those who seek you. Give your believers a basis for faith, true happiness for the land of Israel, true joy in Jerusalem. May the sparks of David, your servant, soon grow bright enough for us to see, a beam of light in the darkness, a promise of perfection. And so, in your holiness, give the righteous the gift of a vision bright with joy, a world where evil has no voice, and the rule of malevolence fades like wisps of smoke. Good people everywhere will celebrate the stunning sight of arrogance gone from the earth. Page 192. You and you alone, Adonai, will reign over creation upon Mount Zion, home of your presence, and in Jerusalem, a city set apart by you, As the psalmist believed, Adonai will reign eternally, your God Zion, for all generations. Hallelujah. Kadosh ata v'norah shemecha, ve'en Eloah mibaladecha, kakatuv vayidba Adonai tzvaot b'mishpat, v'ha'el hakadosh nikdash b'tzedakah. Together, you are holy, your name is awe. There is nothing divine beyond you. As the prophet Isaiah taught, the source of all might is exalted through justice. The God of holiness made holy through righteousness.
Baruch atah Adonai, HaMelech HaKadosh.
Amen. Page 194, we sanctify the day by joining together. You chose us with love to be messengers of mitzvot, and through us you made known your aspirations. Among all the many peoples, you gave us a pathway to holiness. Among all the great nations, you uplifted us and made yourself our sovereign. And so we seek you and serve you, and celebrate our nearness to your presence. Your great and sacred name has become our calling.
ותיתן לנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה את יום הזיכרון הזה, יום תרועה מקרא קודש זכר יציאת מצרים.
In your love, eternal our God, you have given us this day of remembrance, a day for the shofar's joyful sound, a day of sacred assembly, a day to be mindful of our people's going out from Egypt. Page 196. Our God and God of the generations before us, may a memory of us ascend and come before you. May it be heard and seen by you, winning your favor and reaching your awareness. Together with the memory of our ancestors, the memory of your sacred city, Jerusalem, and the memory of your people, the family of Israel, may we be remembered for safety, well-being, and favor, for love and compassion, for life and for peace, on this day of remembrance.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Eternal our God, remember us.
Amen.
Be mindful of us.
Amen.
Amen.
And redeem us for a life of goodness and blessing.
Amen.
Page 198. God who is ours and God of our fathers and mothers, in your glory, reign over the infinite expanse of space and time. In your grandeur be exalted, through your power show us your reality. Then all who dwell on earth shall understand that you are their maker. Astound us with the beauty of your presence, so that every breath of life shall say, eternal is the God of Israel, all-embracing God's rule and sovereignty. Page 200. We continue with the first part of the shofar service, the Malchuyot, accepting God's sovereignty. Please read responsively. We are stiff-necked and stubborn. Teach us to bend before you.
Entrenched in our own perspective, we resist your call to repent.
Convinced we're self-sufficient, entrenched in the illusion of control, we resist your call to humility.
Convinced we can have it all, entrenched in the dream of mastering the world, we resist your call to wake up.
Today you summon us out of our arrogance, out of rigidity, fantasy, shallowness, self-deception.
Teach us to bend our knees, to bow our heads before the mystery, to realize our frailty and our finitude.
Teach us to make you Melech, sovereign in our life, to align ourselves with your goodness and truth.
We would not bow before Pharaoh. We would not bow before the Persian Lord. We would not submit to any power on earth or give ourselves any material thing. But we, the Jewish people, stiff-necked, stubborn to the end.
Today, we bow before you.
Please rise as you are able, page 202, for the great Anlinu.
Aleinu l'shabech l'Adon HaKol Tate Gedula Beotzer Bereshit Shelo Asanu Kegoye Haratzot Shelo Samanu Kemishpachot Adama Shelo Samcheinu Klahem Vegoraleinu Kechol Hamonam V'anachnu Orim Umishtahavim Umodim Lifnei Melech Malachei HaMlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Page 205. Dwell on each sound of the shofar, contemplate its meaning. Tekiah, one whole note. Shvarim Trua, 3 broken notes, 9 staccato notes. Tekiah, one whole note. My return to the right path has the power to make me whole again. Tekiah, once I was whole. Shvarim Trua, in the wear and tear of living, I became broken and shattered. Tekiah, my tshuva has the power to make me whole again.
As we turn to blessings on 206, kids will be joining us later for the second part of the shofar service. If there's any adult here who has a shofar and wants to blow with me for the Malchiyot shofar, please come up now. Seeing none, we shall proceed.
We join together in the blessing to hear the shofar's call. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'shmoa kol shofar.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Tekiah, Shvarim Trua, Tekiah, Tekiah, Shvarim, Tekiah, Tekiah, Trua, Tekiah. The bottom of page 207.
Areshet Sefatenu Yerav V'chanecha Eram V'nisa. Areshet Sefatenu Yerav V'chanecha Eram V'nisa. Mehinu Mazin Mabitu Mashif Od Tiyatenu Od Kabel Barachamim Barachamim Uvratzon Seder Malchuyotenu.
Please have a seat, everyone.
We continue in the middle of page 208, joining together. God who is ours and God of our fathers and mothers, lead us to holiness through your mitzvot, and may each of us find a portion of Torah that is ours. You bestow such goodness. Teach us to be satisfied and to know the joy of your salvation. Help us to serve you truly with purity of heart, for you are a faithful God whose truth stands forever.
Baruch atah Adonai, melech al kol haaretz mekadish Yisrael. Melech al kol haaretz mekadish Yisrael. Melech al kol haaretz mekadish איש ישראל ביום הזיכרון.
Together on page 209. Eternal our God,
your people Israel yearns for your favor. Receive their prayer with loving acceptance, and may you always desire your people's worship. Divine One, close to all who call upon you, bring your grace and presence near to those who serve you. Pour forth your Spirit upon us, and may our eyes see your merciful return to Zion. Baruch atah Adonai, המחזיר שכינתו לציון.
Amen.
Page 211. To our sages who toiled, to the one who chopped wood, to the one who raised cattle, to the storekeeper, the cobbler, and the one who sold salt, to the one who brewed beer and the one who filled casks of wine, to the tailor, to the teacher, to the dealer in cotton, to the one who scrubbed clothing, to the keeper of vines, to the merchant of silk, to the one who plowed fields, to the builder of houses, to the doctors and scribes, to the blacksmith, to the tanner, to the digger of graves. Let us give thanks for a tradition that sanctifies work. Let us honor those who toil and sustain the world in noble and humble ways. We acknowledge those whose labor goes unnoticed. We praise the strength of their hands and the dedication of their hearts. Page 212.
Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulechana להודות.
Amen.
Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, barchenu b'barcha hameshuleshet, haktuva b'Torah, hamora b'pi hakohanim, am kidoshecha ka'amor, yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
Ken Yehi Ratzon.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka.
Ken Yehi Ratzon.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
Ken Yehi Ratzon.
May you know God's blessings of shelter and care.
May it be so.
May you receive the light of God's kindness and grace. May you see God's favor and goodness, and may you partake of God's peace. Prayer for peace is on page 216.
Sim shalom, tova uvracha. Sim shalom, tova uvracha. Sim shalom, tova uvracha. Sim shalom, tova uvracha.
Chen b'chesed,
Chen b'chesed v'rachamim.
chen b'chesed, chen b'chesed v'rachamim.
V'rachamim. Sim shalom, tova uvracha. Sim shalom, tova uvracha. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'racha. Sim shalom, tova uvracha. Sim shalom, tova uvracha.
בספר חיים ברכה ושלום ופרנסה טובה, ניזכר וניכתב לפניך, אנחנו וכל עמך בית ישראל, לחיים טובים ולשלום.
pause now for a moment of silent prayer to offer the prayers of our hearts, the ones that we don't share with the texts that we are using and the ones that we don't share with the people sitting next to us. We pray silently.
There are times that we are struck when we walk in this room at high holidays at the difference of tune and melody. And sometimes it's nice to strike a familiar note. If you know this Oseh Shalom, I hope that you'll join in. It's written by our old friend Jeff Clapper. Oseh Shalom, Shalom Bimromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom, Shalom Bimromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Amen. Let's have some harmonies. Oseh Shalom Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Ve'al Kol Yisrael Amen. We'll be continuing rising for the Avinu Malkeinu, after which we'll be proceeding with the Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service of reading from the Torah. After the Avinu Malkeinu, I'll ask all those who have been asked to hold Torot, Sifrei Torah, to walk out for Hakafa, when we take the Torahs into the congregation, to come up, but only after the Avinu Malkeinu.
We're on page 222.
Loving Father, infinite power, gentle, forgiving, lofty, inscrutable. Avinu Malkeinu, compassionate Mother, omnipotent Lord, comforting presence, fathomless mystery. Avinu Malkeinu. Our rock and redeemer, life of the universe, close to us always, impossibly far.
Avinu Malkeinu.
Embracing, confounding, accepting our frailty, decreeing our end.
Avinu Malkeinu.
None of these are true, none of them are you. Yet we stand as those before us have stood, summoned to judgment, longing for love. Together,
Avinu Malkeinu.
May these words be a bridge. They come from our hearts. May they lead us to you.
Avinu Malkeinu Shema Kolenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, hear our voice. Avinu Malkeinu chatanu lefanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, we have strayed and sinned before you.
Avinu Malkeinu chamol aleinu v'al olaleinu v'tapenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and our families.
Avinu Malkeinu kaladever v'cherev v'ra'av me'aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, halt the onslaught of sickness, violence, and hunger.
Avinu Malkeinu kalekotzaru mastin me'aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, halt the reign of those who cause pain and terror.
Avinu Malkeinu kotvenu b'sefer chayim tovim.
Avinu Malkeinu, enter our names in the book of lives well lived.
Avinu Malkeinu chadesh aleinu shana tova.
Avinu Malkeinu, renew for us a year of goodness.
Avinu Malkeinu chonenu va'anenu, ki ein banu masim, aseh manu tzedakah v'chesed v'hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu,
almighty and merciful, answer us with grace, for our deeds are wanting. Save us through acts of justice and love. Avinu Malkeinu, Aneinu Aneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Aneinu Aneinu, ki ein banu masim. Aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed. Aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed, v'hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, Aneinu v'aneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Aneinu v'aneinu, ki ein banu masim.
As we turn to 226 for the Seder Kriyat Torah, we ask our Torah carriers to come, also our Torah readers for our service today. Please come up to the pulpit now.
In the middle of the page, we are the people of the book. Through fire and mud and dust, we have borne our scrolls tenderly as a baby swaddled in a blanket, traveling with our words sewn in our clothes and carried on our backs. Let us take up the scroll of Torah and dance with it and touch it and read it out, for the mind touches the word and makes it light. So does light enter us, and we shine.
Ein kamocha Elohim Adonai, ve'ein kema'asecha. Malchutecha malchut kol olamim, umemshaltecha bechol dor v'ador. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai imloch le'olam vaed. Adonai oz le'amo yitein, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Rachamim hitiva b'rtzoncha et Zion. Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim. Ki v'chal levan v'tachnu, melech eram v'nisa, Adon olamim.
One time.
Adonai, Adonai, rachum bechanut, erech apayim v'rav chesed v'emet, noter chesed l'alafim, nosei avon v'afesha, v'chata v'nakeh. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh v'norah Shemo. Gadlu Adonai iti, uneromem Shemo yachdav. Lecha Adonai agdu, בשמיים ובארץ, לך אדוני הממלכה, וימית נעשה לכל ראש. לך אדוני הגדולה והתפארת, והנצח והאור, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ, לך אדוני ימית נעשה לכל ראש.
שלושה דברים. Page 229 in the middle if you want the words. דברים על שלושה, שלושה דברים, העולם, העולם עומד. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים. על שלושה, שלושה דברים, העולם, העולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה, שלושה דברים, העולם, העולם עומד. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה, שלושה דברים, העולם, העולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. Come back, Torahs, come back.
על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים.
על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה, שלושה דברים, העולם, העולם עומד. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה, שלושה דברים, העולם, העולם עומד. Please remain standing until the Torahs are in the ark and it's closed. Got it. And now. So, if you have not been with us before, we have a tradition of honoring as many people as possible with aliyot. Our first Torah reader today is Hadley. Where's Hadley?
Right next to you.
Right. Come here, sweetheart. Oh. If she was any closer, she would bite me. That's what my mother would say, I'll tell you. And the groups we want to honor today are hopefully a wide range of experiences that people have had in the last year. If you've had an achievement this last year, at work, in school, if you were confirmed, if you were bar bat mitzvah, if you reached a milestone birthday, and I'll let you define milestone birthday either by zeros, fives, or any way you want. If you had a milestone and achievement this year, come on up, it's your aliyah. If you got into college, that's a good one too. Yeah, getting into college. If you didn't flunk out of college, whatever. Do you know where you're starting? Okay. Rabbi Gorban. Oh, so many accomplishments this year. That's great. You go down there. There you go. The Half family. Come on. There you go. Oh, you're bar mitzvah this year. Confirmed this year. All right. Shimon Omer, Simon says 2 steps forward. A 1 and a 2. So the Torah portion today, we read the binding of Isaac today. We'll read the creation story tomorrow for the second day. You can find the text on page 240. It'll be chanted and translated, but please follow the text. Okay, ready? Here we go. I know you can't see this, but we'll play anyway. 1, 2, 3. Bar. Baruch Adonai Barach Leolam Vaed. Amen. George, you're a responsible officer. Hand this. Okay. Why don't you guys come on along the side here? You don't have to be in the back. Come. Here we go.
Amen. Vayhi achar hadavarim ha'ele v'ha'alim nitza et Abraham ve'omer alan Abraham ve'omer hineni ve'omer natza et bincha et leha asher havta et Yitzhak beno El Etzah Hamaria Vayha Alei Sham Leola Al Hadavarim Ha'ele Asher Amar Elecha V'Hashakam Abraham Ve'akar Ve'Etziyata Etziyanota Ve'Eka Echenei na'aran eto ve'et yatzam beno v'ata yatzei olan v'akem ayelek el hamekom asher amar lo ha'elohim.
And so it was after these things that God put Abraham to the test. And God said to Abraham, God called Abraham, and Abraham said, "Here I am." And God said, "Take now your son, your precious one, the one you love, that is Isaac, and betake yourself to the land of Moriah and offer him up there as an offering on one of the mountains that I will indicate to you." And Abraham arose early that next morning, and he saddled his donkey, and he took his 2 servants with him. He took Isaac and Isaac his son, and he split the wood for the offering, and he arose and he went to that place. Okay. Oh. Where's that blessing card? Where's that? Oh, there you go. 1, 2, 3. Baruch Amen. Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, our God and God of our mothers and God of our fathers. All of these wonderful people stand in the glow of the past year's accomplishments, what they have done, the achievements they stand on, and the people who guided them, the people on whose shoulders they stood, and they're able to look out from the mountain, look forward to the next vista. May they be guided with strength. May they not only be satisfied with their accomplishments, but always be looking ahead, looking forward to become the blessing that they were always meant to be. As together we say, Amen. Say Yeshakah. All right. Now, people who are used to this are used to hanging around because the second one might be yours too, okay? Just who knows. So if you have had a challenge in this past life, boy, how Shirley MacLaine of me. In the past year, if you've met a challenge, if you had a setback, and here you are, you've had a disease, you've had some kind of challenge that you have met, and you are still standing. And there's this marvelous song from Follies by Stephen Sondheim called "I'm Still Here." If you're still here after anything that's happened to you, come on up. We want you to say a blessing. We want you to have this honor. Oh, look at this. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Come. You come by me. You don't climb up. I know you would. Look at this. Oh, so proud of you. Okay, Simon says, pack it in. There you go. Pack it in. Here we go. Edgar, so great to see you here. Hi. Okay? Oh, more. Yeah. Oh, please. Come here, sweetheart. Come here. 1, 2, 3. Baruch Adonai Barach Le'olam Vahed. Melech Haolam Asher. Amen. Simon says, please come forward. I have it.
Amen. Vayom hashlishi vayisa Avraham et einav vayar et hamakom merachok vayomer Avraham el narav shvu lachem po im hachamor v'ani v'ana'ar nelcha ad ko v'nishtachave v'nashuv alechem vayikach Avraham et atzei haolam vayasem al Yitzchak beno vayikach biyado et ha'esh ve'et ha'ma'achelet v'yelchu shnechem yachdav vayomer Yitzchak el Avraham avi vayomer avi vayomer hineni beni vayomer Hinei ha'esh v'ha'itzim vayehaseh le'olam vayomer Avraham Elohim yireh lo haseh le'olam b'ni v'yelchu shnehem
Yachdav. Mrs. Gibson. Lovely. Our first reader was Hadley Carlson. This is Mrs. Gibson. Barbara here. I'm going to finish translating her section. And I'm going to go back a little bit. And he took his 2 servants along with him, and Isaac, and he split the wood, and he arose and went off to the place of which God had spoken. On the 3rd day, Abraham lifted his eyes, and he saw the place from afar. And Abraham said to his servants, you all stay here with the donkey, and I and the lad shall go on yonder, and we shall pray, and we shall return to you. And so it was that Abraham took the wood of the offering, and he placed them on Isaac his son. And he took in his hands the fire pot and the sacrificial knife, and the 2 of them went off together.
Keep going.
She finished?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Isaac said to his father, excuse me.
said to Abraham,
Okay.
Dad.
And Isaac said to his father, Daddy. And his father said, yes, my son. And he said, behold, here is the fire pot, and here is the wood, but where is the lamb for the offering? And Abraham said, God will see to the lamb for the offering, my son. And the 2 of them went off together. Come on, we need this. There you go. 1, 2, 3.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tohenu Baruch atah Adonai Noteneh Torah.
Amen. Makor HaChayim, O source of life. The people who stand honored and honoring here at this moment know that accomplishment is not what is given to us, but it's in the climbing. It is in the challenge. It is in understanding that we are not alone. May all of these wonderful people in their challenges in life who stand here to this day, who wondered if they would make it, who doubted themselves, may they know that they're not alone. And may they take great honor and satisfaction in this moment of what they've done. May they climb many more mountains together, as together we say. Amen. Amen. Say Yesher Koach, please. And for the next Aliyah, those who have been to Israel in the last 3 years, we want you up here. It is literally an Aliyah, an ascent, the way we would say in Hebrew. Oh, I love your hair.
Thank you.
Did your mom do that?
No, I didn't.
You clever person. Here you go.
Remember where you started?
Thank you.
Remember where we were? Brilliant.
And yeah, if you live there, it counts too. It's all right. As long as you got on that plane, as long as it landed at Ben Gurion, we want to count it.
You have it. You read
go. Move in. But you're getting every aliyah. This is wonderful. There's plenty of room in the middle. Just pack it in. There we go. Oh, look at all these. You know something? Every Reform rabbi would delight in this many people going to Israel over in the last 3 years. It's fantastic. Okay, move up into here. Make room. Move up into where Rabbi Gorban is. Make room. There you go. Look at all these wonderful people. Thank you for your... All right? All right, I know you can't see, but give it your best shot. 1, 2, 3. Baruch Adonai Barach Leolam Vaed. That's the only thing that exists. Baruch Atah Adonai. Amen.
Amen. Vayavo el hamakom asher amar lo Elohim vayiven sham Avraham et hamizbeach ve'aruch et ha'etzim vayakod et Yitzchak beno vayasem oto al hamizbeach mima'al ha'etzim Vayishlach Avraham et yado, vayikach et hama'achelet, lishchot et beno, vayikra elav malach Adonai min hashamayim, vayomer Avraham, Avraham, vayomer hineni, vayomer al tishlach yadecha el hanar, ve'al ta'aslo me'uma, Ki ata yedati, kire Elohim ata, velo hasachta, et bincha et yichidecha mimeni, vayisa Avraham et einav, vayar vehine ayo, achar ne'echaz batzeva vekarnav, vayelech Avraham, vayikach et ha'ayo, Vayalehu le'olah tachat beno, vayikra Avraham. Shem hamakom hahu Adonai yir'eh, asher yemer hayom behar Adonai yir'eh.
Beautiful. You're such a sweetheart. Yeah. And they came to the place about which God had spoken. And Abraham built there an altar, and he arranged the wood, and he bound his son Isaac, and he placed him on top of the altar on top of the wood. And Abraham extended his hand, and he took up the sacrificial knife to slaughter his son. And then out came a voice from the very heavens, and it said, Avraham, Avraham. And he said, Here I am. And the voice said, Do not extend your hand to the boy, and do not make any mark upon him. For now do I know that you're a God-fearer, that you have not withheld your son, your precious one, from me. And at that moment Abraham lifted his eyes, and he looked, and he saw that there was a ram caught in the thicket by its horns. And Abraham went, and he took that ram, and he offered it up as an offering in place of his son. And Abraham called the name of that place Adonai Yir'eh, a God will see, about which it is said, on the mountain of God there is vision. Got it? Here, I'll take it. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Adonai Elohei Yisrael, a God of Israel. These people stand here not only to celebrate Torah, but to take a moment of memory and remember the greenery of the Galilee and the desert that they traveled, the people they met, how they ascended every step they were there. They ascended in heart and mind, and they grasped hands to make new friends who were really old family. May all of those who are here know that this was not their last journey, that they will go back again and again to find new friends and new experience and truly have this country be their own even when they are here in America. As together we say, Amen. Say Yesher Koach, please. All right, you have to hang around, right? You don't know if the next one's yours too. All grandparents, we want grandparents up here. If you are able to get up here, we want grandparents. Come on, grandparents. By the way, this is my Aliyah. Your first time. Hi, Katie. Hi. Love your talit. Love your talit.
No, I don't. Should have asked her to stay.
Come on, grandparent. Yes, Rebecca, you were definitely not a grandparent. If you're a parent, I'll get angry.
I don't remember where it was when we were practicing. We're not done.
Look at these Sabas and Savtas, Bubbies and Zaydis.
So we're up here.
It's all right.
Right? Isn't that you?
Oh, Rhonda, she's in Bubbyhood. There is room in the middle if you just get a little closer, like the New York subway or something. Who knows? Isn't this nice? Maybe you get to have more than one. And still they come. Eileen and Jimmy, Alan and Joan and Eden, Debbie Manich, Ronna Back, Amy, come on. Meryl. Shana Tova, Barry. Now you have to come up. There are so many. Come up into this area. Come up into Rabbi Gorban's area too. Come on up. There's room if you come on up. Come on up into here. Nobody falls. That's the grandparents' motto, especially them.
Don't fall down.
Don't fall down. All right, guys. 1, 2, 3. Bar. Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Va'ed. Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Your metronome. Come on up, Robin. You deserve to be here. Carolyn, hold the Torah for Barbara. There you go.
Amen. Vayikra Malach Adonai El Abraham Shenit Min Hashamayim Vayomer Binishbati Neum Adonai Ki Yan Asher Asita Et Hadavar Hazeh V'lo Chasachta Et Binchad Yechidecha Ki Varecha V'rechecha V'harba Arbe Tzaracha Kechovei Hashamayim V'chachol Asher Al Sfat Hayam V'yirash Tzaracha Et Sharo Evav V'hitbarechu V'zaracha Kol Goyei Haaretz Ekev Asher Shamata B'Kolim Vayashov Avraham El Narav Vayakumu V'yelchu Yachdav El Beersheva Vayeshev Avraham B'Beersheva.
And that angel, that messenger of God, called out to Abraham a second time from the heavens and said, By myself do I swear, declares Adonai, that on account that you have done this thing, that you have not withheld your son, your precious one, from me, I shall surely bless you, and I shall surely increase your offspring like the stars of the sky and the sands on the edge of the sea. And your offspring shall seize the gates of their foes. And through your offspring shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, on account that you have hearkened to the voice, to my voice. And after that, Abraham returned to his servants, and they arose, and they went off together toward Beersheba, and Abraham dwelled in Beersheba. Hold that thing up. Okay, yeah, not upside down. Hebrews aren't enough. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Baruch
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, נותן התורה.
Amen. Eloheinu Elohei Adorot, our God and God of the generations. Everyone who looks on your faces from our congregation knows what a debt we owe you, that we literally stand on your shoulders, that you have done so much to help create not only this place, but Jewish life in Pittsburgh, in Pennsylvania, in our country, and in the world. You've done so not only by your own deeds, but by having wonderful children who have created children of their own. When we talk about your children and your children's children in our text, you are the living embodiment of making that possible. You are living blessings. May you understand that, even as the days go and you hunger for holding that grandchild, may you know that every moment that you have created, your grandparenthood is a blessing, and that you touch every moment of every time you are with your child as precious and never to be regained again. May your moments increase even as of your generations. As together we say, Amen. Say really loud, Yesher Koach. If you have volunteered at Temple Sun in the last 2 years doing anything, if you have stuffed an envelope, if you created a Western Wall, if you have done anything to help this synagogue be what it is, we want you for your next aliyah. Here, I got it. I just don't want it to fall over. There we go. See where you are? There's your yad. Look at all these wonderful grandparents.
Yes, I got the spot. It's right there.
Just do my job.
Stand behind me. Stand behind me.
Nice.
מי שמדבר, מי שמדבר.
Do you really? You're not going to listen.
I don't have to do it in English.
Yes, you can. Isn't this a wonderful tradition, though?
Who's
It's
it?
just, it's just joyous.
Volunteers.
Grandparents.
A lot of
Yeah,
Stunning.
yeah. Thank God. I'm reserving this as well.
By the way, if you're a younger person who's read Torah in the last year here, then you're a volunteer, so come on up as well. All right, let's get those blessings up. There we go. Josh and Lisa, we don't want to start without you. Logan, come out toward Rabbi Corbin. There you go. Don't knock her off. That would be. 1, 2, 3. Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Vahed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
אמן. ויהי אחרי הדברים האלה, ויוגד לאברהם לאמור, הנה ילדה מילכה גם היא בנים לנחור אחיך, את עוץ בכורו, ואת בוז אחיו, ואת כמואל אבי ארם, ואת כסד, ואת חזו, ואת פלדש, ואת תדלף, ואת בתואל. ובתואל ילד את רבקה, 8 אלה ילדה מילכה לנחור אחי אברהם. ופילגשו ושמה ראומה, ותלד גם היא את טבח ואת גחם ואת תחש ואת מאחה.
Where are you? Where did you start? Where did you start? And so it was after these things that it was related to Abraham. By the way, Ram is more than capable of his own translation. He said, "It's tradition here, so you do it." There was born to Milcah also children to Nahor, your kinsman, Uts, his oldest, and Buz, his brother, and along with Kemuel, the father of Aram, along with Kesed, and along with Chazo, and Pildash, and Yidlaf, and Bituel. And Bituel fathered Rebekah. These 8 were born to Milcah, of Milcah to Nahor, the kinsman of Abraham, and along with his concubine, and her name was Reumah, and she gave birth also to Tevach, to Gacham, to Tachash, and to Ma'akah. There's that thing. There we go. Mr. President, hold that up. There we go. Not here. 1, 2, 3. Got it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai Notenei Torah. Amen. Elohei hamasoret shelanu, our God and God of our tradition. There's a verse in our scripture that says, "And you should be blessed by your children." And the rabbis purposely change banaich, your children, to bonaich, your builders. You are builders. You have built Jewish life through your own families, but you have honored us with your labor, with your love, and your commitment. These walls would not stand without you. We could not withstand unless we had the support of you and your faith and your commitment. And so we thank you from the bottom of our heart for all you've done, for all you do. You builders of the Jewish people, you builders of Temple Sinai, thank you for your blessing us as we bless you. As together we say, Amen. Amen. Say Yeshikoach. And by the way, say Todah Rabbah as well. Thank you very much. Ram, Todah. Okay. Where are all my papers? Where are all my papers? Oh, that's great. Do you have a cue sheet? Are we lifting next? Oh, here they are. Here are my papers. I didn't have my papers. V'zora Torah. Oh, no, Mishaberach. Cover it. Just cover it. For our Mishaberach today, we will not be calling out names individually. At the same time, I'd like you to do exactly what I see Michelle doing, holding on to somebody dear. And I'd like you to think of those who are in need of healing. So many we know are in hospitals or nursing homes, or facing a challenge or a difficulty that cannot be met simply by being at home. You think of those in distress, whose bodies do not respond. And we think also of those whose spirits are not responding as well. We want them to be whole. It's the only thing we ever want when we sing the Mishaberach, is for people to access blessing and wholeness insofar as they can. And for them, as you call them to mind in your heart, that they know they are not forgotten. But Mishaberach can be found on page
245, the bottom of the page.
Mishaberach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Imoteinu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen.
Where's Olivia Leibovich? Where's she? Where's Olivia? Is she here?
Yep.
Come on. You're going to help with, we're going to lift the Torah. We're going to tie it up. As you are able, please rise. I'm going to lift the Torah. One, two.
V'zot HaTorah asher sam Moshe livnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. 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 Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe.
Now, for the Haftorah, we have the story of Hannah. It is in your book as well. I do have to find it. Let's see where it is. The Haftorah. 247. Oh, well, I'm only 100 pages off. So the blessing for the Haftorah is on page 247. The Haftorah we're going to be reading today is on page 250.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar b'nbi'im tovim v'ratzah v'direhem hanemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai haboher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'vimnei ha'emet v'tzedek.
And there was a man from Ramatayim Sophim, from the hills of Ephraim, whose name was Elkanah, son of Yeroham, son of Elihu, son of Tohu, son of Suf, an Ephraimite. And he had two wives, one named Hannah and the other named Peninnah. Peninnah had children, and Hannah had no children. And this man would go up from his town every year to worship at Shiloh and make offerings to the Eternal of heaven's hosts. And there Eli's two sons, Hophni and Pinchas, were priests of the Eternal. And on the day when Elkanah would make offerings, he would give portions to his wife Peninnah and to each of her sons and daughters. And to Hannah he would give a special portion, because he loved Hannah, and the Eternal had closed her womb. And her rival wife would taunt her cruelly and make her tremble with grief, for the Eternal had closed her womb. And so it was year after year, when she would go up to the house of the Eternal, she taunted her, and she would cry and not eat. And Elkanah, her husband, said to her, Hannah, why do you cry, and why do you not eat? And why are you disheartened? Am I not worth more to you than 10 sons? And Hannah arose after the eating and drinking at Shiloh, while Eli the priest sat upon the throne, near the doorpost of the temple of the Eternal. And she, bitter to the core, prayed to the Eternal, weeping and crying, and she vowed and said, Eternal of heaven's hosts, if you will truly see your servant's affliction, and remember me, and not forget your servant, and give your servant a son, I will give him to the Eternal all the days of his life, and no razor shall be lifted to his head. And as her praying before the Eternal intensified, Eli watched her mouth. And Hannah, she was speaking only in her heart. Though her lips were moving, her voice could not be heard. So Eli thought she was drunk. And Eli said to her, How long will you persist in drunkenness? Put away your wine, get rid of it. And Hannah answered, and she said, No, my lord, a woman of sorrow am I. I drank neither wine nor spirits, but poured out my soul before the Eternal. Do not take your servant for a worthless woman. All this time I have spoken from the depth of my anger, from the greatness of my grievance. Then Eli answered and said, Go in peace, and may the God of Israel grant the request you have made. And she said, May your servant find grace in your sight. And the woman went on her way, and she ate, and her face was no longer as it had been. And they awoke early in the morning and worshipped before the Eternal, and they went home, returning to Ramah. And Elkanah knew Hannah his wife, and the Eternal remembered her. And so it was that at the turn of the year, Hannah conceived, and then gave birth to a son, and she called him Shmuel, because I requested him from the Eternal. And the man Elkanah and his whole household went up to make the annual offerings to the Eternal and to fulfill his vow. But Hannah did not go up, for she said to her husband, Until the boy is weaned, then I will bring him. Once he appears before the Eternal, he will stay there forever. Elkanah and her husband said to her, Do what you think is best. Wait until you have weaned him. Surely the Eternal will fulfill what your mouth has uttered. So the woman stayed and nursed her son until she weaned him. When she had weaned him, she took him up with her, with a 3-year-old bull, 1 ephah of flour, and a skin of wine, and brought him to the house of the Eternal, to Shiloh. And the boy was young. They slaughtered the bull and brought the boy to Eli. And she said, Please, my lord, as you live, my lord, I am the woman who stood here with you, praying to the Eternal. It was for this boy that I prayed, and the Eternal granted my request. I, in turn, grant what the Eternal asks of him. As long as he lives, he is dedicated to the Eternal. And there they worshipped the Eternal. And Hannah prayed, saying, Though the Eternal my heart knows joy, though the Eternal my horn is raised, my mouth opens wide against my foes, for I exult in your deliverance. There is nothing holy like the Eternal, for there is nothing beside you, and there is no rock like our God. Speak no more in lofty tones, let arrogance leave your mouths. All-knowing is the eternal God, whose deeds cannot be measured. The bows of the mighty are broken, while those who falter find strength. Those who are full sell themselves for bread, and the hungry hunger no more. The one who is barren bears 7, and the mother of many is bereaved. The Eternal is the maker of death and life, takes down to Sheol and brings back up. The Eternal makes poverty and wealth, casts low and raises aloft, lifts the poor from the dust, causes the needy to rise from dung heaps and dwell among princes, then places them on thrones of honor. For the pillars of the earth belong to the Eternal, who founded the world upon them, who watches over the steps of the faithful while turning evildoers silent in the darkness. For not by power shall a human being prevail. The Eternal shatters foes, thunders against them in the heavens. The Eternal judges the earth from end to end. So may God give strength to the sovereign and raise high the horn of God's anointed.
Go on.
Yeah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam, tzur kol ha'olamim, tzadik b'kol hadorot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer v'yoseh, ha'mdaber kayim, shekol devarav emet v'tzedek. Al haTorah ve'al havodah ve'al hanavim ve'al yom hazikaron hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu lechavod ultifaret. Al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach. Mvorkim otach yitbarak shimcha befi kol hai tamid leolam vaed udvorcha emet v'kayam laad Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shemo
Melech al kol haaretz mekadesh Yisrael v'yom hazikaron.
Amen. Thank you, Stephanie Bernberg. Thank you, Monica Cellio. Thank you, Laura Fellin. Thank you, Susan Cohn, for our beautiful Haftorah. We are going to continue with the Shofar service. If you have a shofar, no matter what age you are, come up and be by me. Come on, Rachel. Come on, Sam. Or, yes. Why use the steps? Why? Come on up here. Come on up here. Where I'm pointing. Rachel, over here. Right up here. Right up. Stand here. Don't. There you go. Where's Sam? Okay. In your books, please find page 200. 263. We read responsively. Wait just a sec. You get to blow all you want. It's fine. Okay? Zichronot. We did the prayers for sovereignty and now the prayers of remembrance. A messenger from another time, a stranger here in our midst, the shofar sounds remembrance. After the flood in the wake of destruction, Noah discovered the rainbow. Alona. At the end of her strength, afraid for her child Hagar, found a well in the wilderness.
Remember, wherever you go, I am with you.
In sounding the horn, we summon them back. Zichronot, memories of those who saw signs of your presence.
A rock gives forth water. Hope can blossom in the desert.
And when loving hands lighten our darkness, you are there.
When you're caught in the thicket, feel alone or forgotten, the shofar sounds remembrance.
From the deep well of the past and the depths of our own despair, the shofar sounds remembrance.
Remember, my presence goes with you and will lighten your burden.
We turn ahead to page 267 for the blessing for the second set of shofar calls. As you are able, please rise.
כי זוכר כל הנשכחות אתה הוא מעולם ואין שכחה לפני כיסא כבודך ברוך אתה אדוני זוכר הברית
Amen. Tekiah Shvarim Teruah Tekiah Tekiah Shvarim Tekiah Tekiah Teruah Tekiah
הרשת שפתנו ירם לפניך הרם ונישא הרשת שפתנו ירם לפניך הרם ונישא מימינו נזין מעמידו נשיב אותו תקייתנו וכמה רחמים ורחים ורצון זדר זיכרונתנו.
We continue on page 280.
280.
Sorry, 279.
Misery for breakfast, morning coffee with news of distant deaths because someone's always suffering. There's bound to be a crisis raging somewhere, or a quieter catastrophe barreling at the threshold of our notice. We're accustomed to the feeling of something going wrong, like static in the background, tuned out so we can get on with our day. And it's just the same as yesterday, and nothing can be done, so there's not much point in getting too upset. But if something were to shock us, like a baby's piercing wail or a fire bell in the night, like a punch in the stomach or a puncture in the eardrum, like a savage call to conscience or a frantic cry for help, will we scream like a shofar and get mad enough to act? When a ram's horn is sounding in the city, do the people not take alarm? We turn ahead in our books to page 282.
אלוהינו ואלוהינו ואימותינו, תקע בשופר גדול לחירתנו, ושא צדקה בהתגלויותינו, וקרב פזורינו מבין הגויים, ונפוצותינו הניס מיגיתי הארץ, והבינו לציון עירך, לציון עירך ברינה, ולירושלים בית מקדשך, בשמחת עולם, בשמחת עולם. God revealed to us and to our fathers and mothers before
Together,
us, God of revelation, play the song of our freedom on the great shofar. Let your banner fly over the gathering of our exiles. Bring back the dispersed. Let those who are scattered find their way home. Let joyful songs of Zion greet us in Jerusalem, your holy city, the place of our people's eternal happiness. Baruch atah Adonai, shomea kol teruat amo Yisrael berachamim.
Blessed are you who in our lives, Adonai, you hear with love the shofar, the true voice of your people Israel. Tekiah, shvarim teruah, Tekiah, Tekiah, shvarim, Tekiah, Tekiah, Teruah, Tekiah Gedolah.
Okay, Simon says, stand. Simon says, go to Rabbi Gorbin and turn around and face the congregation. By the way, they're singing, you're going to need to clap. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I like to hear the shofar sounds, sometimes slow and sometimes fast. I like to hear the shofar blast. Happy, happy, happy New Year. Tekiah, Tekiah, Tekiah. I like to hear the shofar blast, sometimes slow and sometimes fast. I like to hear the shofar blast. Happy, happy, happy New Year. Shivarim, Shivarim, Shivarim. I like to hear the shofar blast, sometimes slow and sometimes fast. I like to hear the shofar blast. Happy, happy, happy New Year. Teru, 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 1, 2, 3. I like to hear the shofar blast, sometimes slow and sometimes fast. I like to hear the shofar blast. Happy, happy, happy. Get a good breath. Tekiah Gedolah.
Tekiah Gedolah.
Rabbis have a lot of hot air. Now you do it. Tekiah Gedolah. Now you join them. Tekiah Gedolah. Last time. I like to hear the shofar blast, sometimes slow and sometimes fast. I like to hear the shofar blast. Happy, happy, happy New Year. Happy, happy, happy New Year. Last time. Happy, happy, happy New Year. Say Yesher Koach to our kids.
Yesher Koach. Okay, and now all of you can come up to the bima, come up these stairs. We're going to return the Torah to the Ark. We are on page 276, and our wonderful children are going to help us with that.
Pull. Pull. Not too hard. Don't break it. There we go. Hold. Let go. Everybody let go.
Not the right
let go. Okay? Who's the Torah? You have the Torah?
Yeah, hallelujah, Shem Adonai, ki niskaf shemo levado.
Shamayim, vayarem keren le'amo, tehir
מחזיקים בה ותוכחה מאושר דרכיה דרכי נועם וכל נתיבותיה שלום השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה קדיש קדיש ימינו קדיש ימינו
I want to thank those kids. They tell us not only what we're doing now, but what we're doing it for. They were on a journey to the unthinkable, the unbearable, the impossible. Yet it was about to happen. What Isaac wanted to know was why. He'd been working with his father, Abraham's flocks, when he got word from his mother. Dad wanted him to go on a trip, no questions asked. She said, just get your things together and leave tomorrow morning. But Isaac was upset. He demanded to know more about this sudden, mysterious journey. Are you going? He asked his mother. No, she answered curtly. Why not? I don't want to go. Because that's the way your father wants it. Where are we going? Ask him. What are we going to do when we get there? Ask him. Why do we have to go now? Ask him. Why are you so angry, Mom? Ask him. Ask him what? But Mom exploded. Ask him anything you want. I don't want any part of this. It reminds me of conversations with my parents when I was a kid, although I must admit I was never in danger of being sacrificed. Well, maybe once. Isaac did ask, but no avail. Abraham was silent, just kept unpacking. And so it began. The next day they set out, father and son, 1 donkey and 2 servants. The Torah says they traveled for 3 days by Yom HaShishi Vayara Makom Merachok. On the 3rd day, he lifted his eyes and saw the place from afar. 3 days to impossible. It was a spiritual trek as well as physical. Abraham was offering up his legacy, his lineage, his very life. If he succeeded, all his other labors for God would be in vain. It is a journey not to kill only his son, but himself. This is a journey to impossible. 3 days. How long is that? 3 days is the waiting time in many states to buy a firearm. In some states, they require 3 days before getting an abortion. 3 days is usually the time you have to back out of buying a car or a home. In Jewish tradition, 3 days is the time our people spent at Mount Sinai preparing to receive Torah. Queen Esther fasted for 3 days before risking her life before King Ahasuerus. Jonah spent 3 days in the belly of a fish, as we'll see dramatized by Attack Theater on Yom Kippur afternoon. Traditional sources say that Abraham's journey took 3 days because the Torah didn't want us to think that Abraham just ran off without thinking. And this idea makes the story both more compelling and even more impossible to accept. He had plenty of time to reconsider, but he didn't. During those days, was Abraham scared, doubtful, distressed, thoughtful, resigned? We don't know. All that we know is that for 3 days, Abraham journeyed to the impossible. Impossible to believe, imagine, or accept. And yet you and I know what a 3-day journey to impossible feels like. We've experienced it ourselves more than once just this last month. In August, we watched in horror as in 3 days, Houston, a city of more than 4 million people, was paralyzed with more than 40 inches of rain. 27 trillion gallons of water dumped on southeastern Texas. Someone estimated that was 2/3 of the total of the Dead Sea at once. and the scenes we witnessed on TV were agonizing. Over 3 days, Hurricane Irma did the same to Florida. We have called everyone in our congregation and former members who live in Houston and Florida. All are safe, thank God. All have had minimum disruptions to their lives. But Irma inflicted catastrophe on the islands of the Caribbean. The U.S. Virgin Islands suffered a direct hit. My dear friend and colleague, Rabbi Michael Feshbach, had just moved to St. Thomas with his family. He bought a house. Before closing, which was to be next month, it was destroyed. And he reports shortages in food and fuel and all the basics. But he reports about resilience as well. He writes of selfless acts of personal courage of islanders that resolve to make their island paradise once more. Listen to his postings. Beyond the impossible, there is life and even hope. He writes Friday, September 8th, wrote detailed post yesterday, which doesn't seem to have appeared. Normally would not post on Shabbat, but we are physically okay. And we did a service at the synagogue last night, preserving an unbroken chain of several centuries. But house badly damaged, generator worked then failed, conditions on ground very challenging. No cell except in isolated spots, no power, no running water, and he said in horror, no showers or clean clothes. Power may take months and we need to move out of our rental soon, time will tell, but neighbors have been great, people generally caring, except for some armed, angry folks this morning, and tremendous amount of mutual aid and love. Resilience, grit, and spirit are here. 3 days later, he wrote on Monday, September 11th, God bless kindness and hospitality. Relocated last night to a place that has a working generator in the evenings, so showers and running water, and recharging for a few hours, as long as that lasts. Reaching the synagogue, we went farther inside the building for the first time, no major damage. Many people hurting, sadness all around, radio stations with people calling and begging, has anyone seen so-and-so? Stores charging $20 for a bottle of water. Some recovery efforts visible. Still no power for months. Trying to reach people to check in, hearing about some but not others. Wondering how to do high holy days. There go the sermons. Thursday, the 14th, he wrote, and with a photo, handwritten sign seen on the island, the 2-for-1 sale on hurricanes has now ended. This week's special, free hugs, no limit. And from yesterday, he wrote, due to Hurricane Maria, we are rescheduling high holiday services. Barbara and I are personally supporting the efforts by both the Jewish Federation of Pittsburgh and the Union for Reform Judaism to gather funds to aid those affected by the hurricanes. But I am promising today to dig even deeper in my pocket to restore the lives of St. Thomas residents and rebuild their historic synagogue. They're extraordinarily resilient, but they all need help. They need all the help they can get to meet their physical and spiritual needs. If you would like to join this effort, do not try to donate through their synagogue website, which crashed due to the traffic on it. Please make a check out to Temple Sinai and put a note in the corner that says St. Thomas Hebrew Congregation. I promise you will collect your donations and get them to St. Thomas as quickly as there is reestablishment of mail. Last month, we witnessed another 3-day journey to impossible. In Charlottesville, Virginia, a bucolic college town known for elegance and tradition, a hurricane of hate broke upon the town like a storm. For 3 days, we Americans watched a journey to impossible unfold. From the torchlit march on Friday night of Nazi wannabes to the aftermath of Monday morning of our president declaring both sides equally at fault, it was impossible to imagine, much less accept. It is impossible to believe that these people carried swastikas less than 3 generations after more than 400,000 American soldiers died battling Nazis. It is impossible that white supremacists and neo-Nazis chanted, Jews will not replace us, and Blut Bande, the blood-chilling Nazi cry of blood and soil. The synagogue in Charlottesville, located across the street from the march, held Shabbat services in abject fear as if it were 1938 all over again. Listen to the president of our sister synagogue, Congregation Beth Israel, recount these hours. Several times parades of Nazis passed our building shouting, there's the synagogue, followed by chants of Sieg Heil and other anti-Semitic language. A guy in a polo shirt walked by the synagogue a few times, arousing suspicions. Was he casing the building or trying to build up the courage to commit a crime? We don't know. And later I asked the man, I noticed that the man accused in the automobile terror attack that killed a human life wore the same polo shirt as the man walking by our synagogue. Even now, it gives me a chill. In the face of this hurricane of hatred, what must we do? How must we respond? We must not give in to shock or resignation. We must resolve and respond in truth, in word, and deed. So today I will add my voice to those of my rabbinic colleagues in North America. Hundreds of us are sharing the exact words that I'm going to say in a moment in a sign of solidarity and resolve. And I will need my shofar if it is there. Thank you. We will not be moved from our path of moral clarity on this day, Rosh Hashanah of all days. And so we declare this day as follows. The Talmud teaches if you see wrongdoing by a member of your household and do not protest, you are held accountable. And so it is in relation to the members of your city, and so in relation to the world. Today, I and my colleagues speak words of protest in fulfillment of our sacred obligation. We will not be silent. We will, without hesitation, decry the moral abdication of the president who fuels hatred and division in our beloved country. This is not a political statement. We draw from the deepest wisdom of our tradition to deliver a stern warning against complacency and an impassioned call for action. We call on all of us to rise up and say in thousands of ways, every day, as proud Jews and proud Americans, you cannot dehumanize, degrade, and stigmatize whole categories of people in this nation. Every Jew, every Muslim, every gay, transgender, disabled, black, brown, white, woman, man, and child is beloved of God and precious to the Holy One's sight. We the people, all the people, are created b'tselem Elohim, in the image of the divine. All are worthy of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Rosh Hashanah is Yom Teruah, the day of the sounding of the shofar, whose piercing tones sound an alarm, expressing our fears, and especially in these times, they compels us to respond with a resounding call for justice. Tekiah, the sound of certainty. As rabbis, we are, from sea to shining sea, speaking in our congregations in one voice, in every accent of America, to declare in unison acts of hatred, intimidation, and divisiveness will not be tolerated in the United States of America. We call on political leaders, progressives and conservatives alike, to rigorously uphold values brilliantly articulated in our founding documents, the immortal declaration that all of us are created equal. We call on every elected leader to responsibly represent our country's history and advance the noble vision of tolerance. On this first day of the new year, we are proclaiming liberty throughout the land. Shavarim. Something of us broke. Lishbo, to break. When we watch the televised images in Charlottesville's beautiful streets of hate-spewing marchers. How much more vandalism, how many clashes, which are the cities. We must not accept or become inured to the warped vision of the normal that we've seen of racist and anti-Semitic acts or rallies popping in and out of news cycles. We must never go numb to the brokenness, but let our pain fuel our vows to respond with peaceful protests and public calls for healing, building alliances, and by speaking in unison with other minorities and faith communities. Neither silence nor complacency, nor waiting anxiously and fearfully for the next wounding event are options. Not for us. Elie Wiesel of blessed memory possessed a rare understanding of unfathomable brokenness. His memorable words sounded a warning to us today. He said, we must take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. Sometimes we must interfere. May we never be neutral or silent in the face of threats or discrimination. The shofar blast Shu'ah, the sound of urgency. I'm turning off the mic so I don't hurt you. These events of these simmering weeks are a wake-up call to our Jewish community. Racism is wrong, whether it seeps into explicit anti-Semitism or not. The Talmud teaches that God created us all from the first Adam so that no human being could ever say, my lineage is greater than yours. No, those fiery torches of Charlottesville illuminated another truth. When we learn and forget only to learn again this day, if one minority group's rights are threatened, we are all threatened. And finally, the Tekiah Gedolah, not as long as the last one. Tzedek, tzedek, tirdof, the Torah admonishes. Justice you shall pursue, justice, justice you shall pursue, so you may live and inherit the land which I, Adonai, gave you. Our sacred text reminds us that for a community truly to inherit its place in the world, thoughtful leaders at every level must be dedicated to equality and unity. Let us be relentless, tireless builders of that society in our city and in our country this new year. Despite Abraham's and Isaac's and Sarah's journey to impossible, they endured, they believed, and they went on to bequeath their covenant of holy humanity to us. And so I say, despite our journey to impossible this year, we must do the same. We must endure, believe, and uphold the covenant. We must act and raise our voices. Some of us will create alliances across all lines of faith and color, and so others publicly demonstrate to meet hate without violence wherever it raises its ugly head. Today on Rosh Hashanah, we declare that this is not impossible, that there is a way forward. We know there is a way forward from the impossible from our history. After 3 days journeying to Mount Moriah, Abraham and Isaac go forward to live out our sacred covenant. After 3 days at Sinai, our people receive Torah, the light for our people's lives and our path, the bedrock of our values. After 3 days, Esther, speaking truth to power, risks her life to stand in front of the king demanding justice. And in our own day, after 3 days of Hurricane Harvey, people from 500 miles away bought boats and brought them to Houston. We must show the same resolve after Irma, Jose, Maria, and the victims of the Mexican earthquake as well. After 3 days of hate in Charlottesville, political leaders on both sides of the aisle rose together to decry racism, anti-Semitism, Nazism, and even to criticize our president. And you don't believe in miracles? Today, this day, it is our sacred task to face the impossible and not cower in fear. Today, this day, it is our sacred task to look at ourselves in the mirror and see the image of God. And today, this day, it is our sacred task to look in the faces of others, especially those who look nothing like us, and see that same divine image. May this year be one of joy and love for you and yours, sweetness beyond measure, blessings overflowing. May we be blessed with courage, hope, purpose, and commitment to our highest, best selves. This month, this last month, over 3 days, my family came together to dedicate my father's grave. There was laughter, there were tears, there were tender embraces. There were sayings recalled and stories remembered. The impossible had happened. My father taken in a moment. And yet we had taken the best of my father's life and let it permeate our own. And when I watched my mother hold my granddaughter Noah, when I watched the delight in both of their eyes, I knew we would survive the impossible too. I hope and pray beyond all hope and prayer that this year you do so as well. Sweetness and love, joy and hope, justice and compassion for you, for me, for us all. For us all.
Really, our only announcement is to say that we have a family service at 4:45 in Frick Park and our Tashlich service at 5:15. Both of them have been rewritten, so I hope you will join us. In Frick Park, by the way, you'll turn right onto Hutchinson and then right again on Lancaster and go all the way down into the bowels of Frick Park.
Pittsburgh directions are you turn right at the get-go, right?
That's what I said the first time, and then everyone corrected me with street names.
So, just in the spirit of forgiveness, as you leave this place and people are angry that they can't get in yet, say, it's his fault. Say, blame it on me. It's all right, and maybe by Yom Kippur I'll be forgiven. We're going to continue with Elena on 286. We're going to go fairly quickly through our concluding prayers and Kaddish and our final song.
עלינו לשבח לדור לתת גדולה ליוצר הראשית שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגורלנו ככל המונם ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
On 291, there are stars up above so far away. We only see their light long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. The memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. As I announced yesterday, we mourn with Linda Bernstein over the death of her husband, Lenny, who will be buried tomorrow at 3 o'clock in the afternoon out of sugars. And anyone else who has experienced a loss in the last week, month, or a year, we'll ask you to rise now so we can accept you and comfort you as mourners and recognize you. And because we believe with all of our hearts that no mourner ever needs stand alone, we rise with our mourners as we turn to page 292 for Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yikadash mirabah.
Amen.
V'yomad yivrach iruteh v'yamlich malchuteh. V'chai echon v'yom echon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. V'agala v'zman kari v'yimru.
Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba Barach v'olam le'almei almaya.
Yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitumam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudsha v'richu. Le'ela minko birchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechamata. Damiram b'yalma v'yimru.
Amen.
Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya. L'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mamav v'yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. May the source of peace in the high heavens cause peace to descend on all of us, upon all Israel, upon our shattered world that God asks us to heal, upon all of us who still mourn their beloved dead, as together we say,
Amen.
Amen.
on 294, all you have to sing at the end of each line is Amen, but you have to do it as we say, mit feeling, okay? Ayom, 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 te'am sereinu,
Amen.
ayom, 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 tevarcheinu.
Amen.
Ayom, 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 tigad legeinu.
Amen.
Ayom, 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 tishenu lehetova. Amen. Ayom, 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 tishenu lechayim tovim. Amen. Ayom, 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 Hayom tishma shavateinu. Amen. Hayom, 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 tibel rachaminu v'ratzot et tfilateinu. Amen. Hayom, last one. Hayom, 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 tibelcheinu b'min tzidkecha. Amen. Shana tova.
Shana Tova.